Okay. Hello everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to Bangkok City Gallery. I think some of you might have been here to this gallery before, but those who come here for the first time, we are now in the main gallery and surrounded by the Aya Pixel, the people, the exhibition by Chulayarnnon Siriphol. And this exhibition will be on until next Saturday, June 21st. So we have 4 more days to go. And my name is Kantida, and today me and together with our guest speaker will join the conversation that revolves around the exhibition and Chulayarnnon artistic practice. It's an honor to have Chulayarnnon and also Sam I-shan together with us. So Sam I-shan, she's the independent curator who lives and works between Singapore and Cambodia. And yeah, so we are joining conversation today together. So our talk is titled, It's About Time Performing Between the Past and Tomorrow in Chulayarnnon Siriphol, Aya Pixel with the People. And the title is derived from I-shan writing under the same titles. Her text explore the temporal structure, intertextual symbolism, and transformative performances in the artist's practice. And from that point on today, the talk is aimed to cover the expanded area and the topic, like for example, the relationship between the family law or national politics, and even like the prospect of generative change. And in addition to this talk, I-shan text that I mentioned earlier is also available now in the book form, which is this one. Yeah, and it is an open edition, and for this first batch, we print only 74 copies. So if any of you interested in this book, please visit the bookshop library, the front room next to the main gallery, and yeah, just to read or to buy for yourself. Yeah, I think like we should start. Yeah. So I think I wanted to like talk about like the exhibition first, because like right now we in this room, and yeah, maybe like PK, like could you share like some like the initial idea or like anything that you want to explore when you think about like making this exhibition at the first place?
Okay, thank you everyone for coming this afternoon. I am Chulayarnnon Siriphol. As Kantida call me K, so it's my nickname. So it's gonna be casual calling. As an artist and filmmaker, so I made both side. Like sometimes it's in the art side, in the art scenes, or sometimes I am like filmmaker. It depends on the context. So in this exhibition, I feel like I have the question on my practice because this year 2025 is like about 20 years of my practice. I start making like a short film officially, about 2004. So in that sense, I would like to look back to my practice in these 20 years, that how I made the artwork, and I found out that the artwork I made is quite varieties, from short films about my personal memory, my family, my education, and also about the Thai political problem or political crisis. So the idea come up with, should I make like the artwork that looking back into my personal archive? It's not only my artwork, but including like the physical archive from my family, like family's memory, and also related to like some of the file footages that I collected. So the idea come up with how to rethink about the archive in terms of the physical and also the digitally. And everything like mixes up, and it's become the idea of like the connection between personal and public issues. So yeah, I think I try to make the connection with these two things. Yeah.
Yeah, so when Candida Luktan and approached me, together Chulayarnnon, to write this essay, it was a kind of nice reunion because we have known each other for since 2017, and I worked with you in Singapore. And in fact, the first work that we worked on together to make an exhibition was Myth of Modernity, which is really about mixing of Buddhist cosmology as well as the visual culture of political protests, and it's about the crowd. So at the time, looking at your short films, I invited you to present it in a kind of installative context similar to this. So you were kind of planning the space and how to show single channel works in a way that kind of played with the multi-channel aspect of it, but still being true to what they were single channel works. And I think you really demonstrated that here. So you were talking a little bit about how you wanted to look back at 20 years of your archive and your practice. But one thing which I also asked you when we were talking, I was like, why does it have to be 24 hours? It's a really long work. And 24 hours is a kind of a unit of time that we are familiar with. It's one day, and there's 1 month, 1 week, 1 year, but it's the first kind of maybe complete cycle of the sun rising, the sun setting. So, I liked that idea because when we talked a little bit about Thai political history, we know that it's very cyclical. So I felt that you were kind of evoking that. But also you must have had other senses in mind. And when I watched it to prepare for this work, and I think the gallery staff did that as well, I watched it all the way through. But here, when it's presented in the gallery for various reasons, it's broken up into chapters, and then it's shown here on the big screen, but also in the small mounds. So maybe you can talk a little bit about your decision in structuring the film and how you sort of arrived at this duration. And then, Candida, you should speak a little bit about why the gallery decided to show it the way that you are.
Sorry, I get reply first. Okay, so the idea of the 24 hours video is come up with my idea when when we make a film, we have to think about the audience perception. Like a feature film is 2 hours or 1 hour and a half. So the audience can accept or understand the whole piece of the artwork. But as a video artist, some of the people said the video artist should make the artworks as short as possible because of the in the gallery, the way of the audience who take times is totally different from the film in the cinema. In the cinema, it's we have to sit down and watch the film from the beginning to the end. But in the gallery, in the white cube, it's totally different. So I think I would like to challenge myself in terms of the perception of the audience, that how can we perceive all the artwork that we may not understand all of them. How can we analyze all of the artwork? And it is also challenge the physical of the audience to perceive all the 24 hours. Like you watch all the episodes. So I think you have to take times and energy, right? And as it's presented in the gallery, I think it's also challenging in another steps because the audience have to manage their times to organize themselves to come and go. So but in terms of the media today, when we watch a moving image, it's not only in the cinema or in the gallery, but in also in the social media. When we scroll up the video, the story, or it's a short clip, everything is always new. And I feel it's always working with the algorithm that even I go to sleep or wake up. So the algorithm is working all the time, 24 hours. And one more thing is like the way of the people watching film. We may not go to the cinema anymore, but we watch the film through the streaming, like on the Netflix or like on Mubi. So the audience can manage the time. Yeah, we can fast forward, we can skip, or we can choose the episode to see or not to see. So I think this behavior of consuming moving images in our time is quite challenging. So this artwork 24 hours video is quite challenge me as an artist in terms of the art production, and also challenging the audience to understand or capture like the whole piece. How can we understand the whole piece if we cannot complete all the episodes? And in terms of the installation, maybe when its idea is come up, so I presented to the gallery that okay, I would like to present like 24 hours video for the whole 2 months, like non-stop.
Non-stop, yes. Open like 24 hours.
Open the gallery for 24 hours. But the gallery said that it's not possible. So we need like energy and resources. So, to negotiate with the gallery. So in the opening, we made the screening for 24 hours from like 1 p.m. on Saturday, and it's finished like 1 p.m. on Sunday. And after that, I decided to split these 24 episodes to 6 seasons. So the content of each season will be grouping. So like the first week is present 4 episodes. So totally we need 6 weeks to complete screening the 24 episodes. Yeah, so it's become the idea and how I execute. Yeah.
I will try to answer from like as the gallery staff. So like in the process of making this exhibition, like Chulayarnnon mentioned earlier, that he came up with like an idea about like 24-hour exhibition, but like during the process we have to work with another team as well, not just like the artist, but we have like for example the scenographer team who designed like the exhibition. Papason Sukaset, she's like the head designer. We also working with Platform Studio who oversee like the installation, like they are like the art handler team, and even like Piti Bunsom, he is like the visual technician who will make sure that we run everything smoothly. So like we discuss with all of them to make it like happen during like the period of these 2 months. But like in terms of like the decision that we divided into like the 4 screening room and 1 big projection, I think like it's also because of we want to like offer like one more way to see like his work, not just like the one video at the time, but like the visitor, they can decide that like which video, which episode they want to see. Yeah, and I think like I also like personally like interested to see and to hear how like the visitor navigate themselves in the space as well. So like after the 24 opening, we can have a real like conversation with like the visitor who come to the exhibition after that. And some of them, they're still like trying to make sense of the space, because like it's not just like the one channel, like one single channel video, but because we have like 5 video running in the same space. But yes, we also have like someone who more like consider themselves as a cinephile, who like come here every week and like watch like the video like the whole day, something like that. Yeah,
and I think it really speaks to the way that you kind of exist in both the film, independent film world, as well as the kind of a visual art context. So if you think of other contexts, that where such 24-hour works are shown, like they are really about duration itself. So like The Clock by Christian Marclay or 24-Hour Cycle by Douglas Gordon, these actually make you slow down and think about the nature of time itself. You actually have to almost watch the seconds tick by chronologically, or it's playing with that notion. But here, I think it's interesting because the way that the gallery has decided to present this work, aside from the first 24 hours, it changes it into something else, which is more like a mini series, and then it changes the focus more towards the sense of historical time, the intergenerational change that is part of the storyline of the film. So of course, like now artists are moving towards making series as well. I mean, Steve McQueen does it. So, I find that, just looking at this work, thinking about its nature as a 24-hour work that just goes round and round, but at the same time, you can see episodes, as you call them episodes, and there's a very clear storyline, there's an arc that goes through and you can map. It really speaks to, you inhabiting these different kinds of registers that a lot of contemporary moving image artists work on today. And another thing which I think we've talked a lot about the structure of the work, but maybe the content, because sometimes, when we're speaking to our artist friends or audiences who come here, they even ask, like, what is this work about? They can't really tell what it is, So I think about Chulayarnnon, like your kind of universe of references, symbols that you use again and again in your work repeat themselves, in a way that sort of adds layers to what each symbol means. So, for example, one thing which I enjoyed very much was the golden snail, which I think that if all of us are familiar with Chulayarnnon's work, you've seen him work with this symbol for the longest time. But I realized after watching this work that Chulayarnnon has been playing the golden snail since he was 5 years old. And this is part of the kind of personal home videos that were in this work. So in a sense, the duration of the work is 24 hours, but it's also like 35 years, So it's really quite interesting that way. But yeah, maybe we can talk a little bit about the use of your the family story that kind of runs throughout, and how you kind of map that onto how you understand Thai politics.
Yeah, in terms of the narrative or like the content in this 24 episode, when I look back to my previous video work, as I told before, it's like, okay, let's start from like, okay, I made like 20 years as my practice, but the first 10 years, like let's say like 2004 or to 2014, I made like the short films about like my family and also about my childhood, and also like about my education in the film school. But the second part is 2004 to like 2024 is related to like Thai politics, because it's quite changed my life when the Thai political crisis come to like my life about 2010 or 2011. So it's impact on my attitude and my life. So I think this work is like the combination both two sides that connect together, both like personal and also the politics together. So it's become as a narrative from 24 episodes. As I-shan said, that I always like pick up the golden snail as main characters in many of my artwork. So, and this piece is also, I also pick up the golden snail because when I was in kindergarten, I performed as there is a Thai folklore called Sang Thong or golden conch, which is not a snail but look like a snail. And in this Thai folklore is about the boy who came out to clean his house when his mother was not in the house, like going out from the house. So I feel like, oh, this story is look like my personal story or my relationship between me and my mother. So I think I would like to explore this Thai folklore and expand it to, the 24 episodes narrative of 24 episodes. It in the beginning of the narrative, it is related to my personal family memories and also about the my mother, the relationship between me and my mother. But after that, the episode about like before 12 is gonna be, I would like to mapping the power of my family, which I feel like I was like manipulated by the mother or parents or grandparents with the political situation, because in Thailand we have like the mother and father of the country that try to which word should I use to like to taking care of the people, which is like a son and the daughters. The citizen in this country, I feel like we are under taking care of the like the royal family or the military. So I would like to mapping these two layers together. So after that, the narrative is become more about the golden snail, like going out on the street and protest with the people on the street. And after that, the golden snail was kind of like it's a loser in the protest, and the golden snail was shot, and then the golden snail like become like an they meet like a monk, and this monk like try to raise him to be like an voluntary artist, and this voluntary artist is become like many characters in the history based on the popular novel. So this storyline, this narrative is like try to make the connection between my own personal and also my previous work and also the political situation, what is happening here.
It must have been quite tough to stitch together a narrative, that linked all your works. But I think that if you see the whole thing, you can kind of see exactly how Chulayarnnon is unfolding it. So maybe a little bit more about the family structure might be interesting to, it's interesting to talk about it. So there are clearly 4 generations represented in this work. It's the grandfather figure that you've probably seen before in Vanishing Horizon of the Sea. And he also appears in Birth of the Golden Snail. He's like a military figure who is wearing a naval officer's uniform. And then he represents that generation. And then the next generation is the mother figure who is really present all around us in terms of the possessions that make up the mounds that are in the gallery. But she also appears, not her, but a matriarchal figure appears in Planetarium and some other works. Then we have the artist, the golden snail figure, and then like a young child who's a member of your family who represents the future generation. Yeah, so we were speaking a little bit about this, but could you distinguish for us maybe the difference between matriarchy and patriarchal power as you understand it and as is shown in the film?
Okay, so let's talk about because I grew up with the family with my grandfather is like a Navy who goes to like Korean War, and his like political ideology is quite let's say like right wing, because during the Cold War we have like communist party who came into our society, and yeah, my grandfather is like, yeah, we have to fight and to suppress like the communists. So, and my mother is like, yeah, she grew up during the Cold War, and I feel like she was controlled by my grandfather. So she feel like she has no freedom in her life. So as you see the clothes and things in the room, in the exhibition, in the gallery space, is all of them is from my family. So they collect things and they don't want to throw away. But most of the things is from my mom. And I feel like, yeah, I think she would like to, feel like to heal herself from under the control of my grandfather. So yeah, I think like the shopping is one thing that can treat her to be like feeling have in positive way. Yeah, I think it's like mental health. So I would like to present something that is like related to like the history through the objects, and something that physical that we can touch, the feeling or touching the attitude. And the next generation is me, which is I grew up with the during the early 90s. And I found out I got the political like political situation when I grow up since 2000, not 2000, like, yeah, we have a big massacre in 1992. So it's still haunted in my memory when I was young. So I think all of my life is like against the political situation that I have to face with. So I feel like my feeling is quite struggle with how this country is tried to be has the full democracy. So the political ideology with my grandparents and my mom is quite different, and it's also have a internal conflict in the family. I think it's not only my family, but it's also the other family, not only me. And in the future generation, because I have a kid now, so yeah, I'm keep questioning on how can we live in this kind of the environmental. Yeah, so I think this fourth generation can be represent the generation in general as well. It's not only my family, but it's just the like a case study. Yeah. It's too.
It's nice.
It's nice, right? Okay, we have a background music.
Background music. Yeah. I think like I remember that like on the opening week there is like a scene like from like the demonstration, and I at that time I think like the people who like stay and watch like the video is more like like people in my age. I mean like they somehow like understand like the situation that they see in the video. Yeah, it is like quite refreshing to talk about that again in this exhibition setting. I mean like after after years of like demonstration, I think we didn't have like a time to reflecting that situation that much. Yeah, and it's like quite interesting to see it again on your work. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that your time frames that you've considered, aside from the intergenerational transmission, it's you have 1932, which you started with kind of like it's evoked in the 100 times reproduction of democracy because of the People's Party, kind of the speech and also the object that is embedded in the ground, the monument, and then. What is really presented in this particular work, as Candida is speaking of, are protests that you filmed as a person coming of age, a young person at the time in 2010. So it's interesting to see generational difference even in terms of the kind of video that is shot. So you used a DV at that time. And then 2014, there was the coup, and you also shot it. And 2020, at the time, you were making another solo exhibition here at Bangkok City. So like the protests were on everyone's mind. And in a way, you are looking at this swath of history from then until now, and there are very clear markers that are presented as well throughout the 24 episodes. But you're also suggesting that, another kind of timeline, another kind of historical duration that is present throughout this work and also in parallel to your own coming of age.
Yeah. It's like when we think about the whole timeline, I feel like it's like when we look back into like personal history, it's like I can look into not related to what it is at that time. It can be look into like a new perspective of today. For example, if we look back into like the footage that I shot during the protest, during the shooting, I have one idea, but when time passed, and when I look back today in the context of today, I think the old footage is not the old anymore. It's like the new things that I always perceive. And I can create more narrative, like many ways of the narrative. It's no need to be as the same as the original footage that I got. So in that sense, when we look back, it's no need to be the same things. There is like multiple ways that look into the archive and look into like the footage that I got. So I think it's history as well. One day, like the history is something like this, but in the future, like the audience or the young generation have to look into the history and they have like more perspective. So many of my work is like working with the grand narrative or the grand history that is always written by like the military or in the history textbooks, and I feel like it's just a one way to talk about what we did in the past, and my artwork is try to looking for the new way to express or the alternative history. So yeah, I always pick up the pop culture or the pop novel because it's easily related to the people. It used to be like entertainment values, but I would like to show that this entertainment value is not only one way to understand the narrative or the film, but there is some political ideology behind it, and I would like to dig it up and show it quite obvious, to make it obvious.
Yeah, speaking of like the archive, I think this is also the reason why I am interested in your practice, like your approach, like to the archive, because like for me, also as an audience as well, I don't think you use like the archive as a evidence of like the present, but you more like play with it, like speculate it and like represent it in like another narrative, like you said before. Yeah, so I'm just like thinking about like I-shan as well, because like you have to write the text, and I imagine that you have to like go to like the 20 years or even like 35 years like of Chulayarnnon life. I just like want to know like if you can share more about like how you approach like his archive as well, like why you like writing like the text. Yeah.
Yeah. So the process of research was quite lengthy, I think, more than I was used to, because I think for a lot of works with, especially moving image context, there's a lot of references that are not immediately evident to people who are not steeped in the history of Thai politics. I know a little bit, but I feel that I can always know more. So I think that if this work was shown, elsewhere where people don't necessarily immediately visually understand what a protest on the street means, aside from very obvious markers like the colors that people are wearing, but something on the street is not just something on the street. There's many, many things that are hidden underneath. And when people sing or they perform or they, even the kind of signs that they have, like sometimes it looks like a very general statement, but there's so many layers underneath. So I feel that looking at Chulayarnnon's work is kind of like a pedagogical process. The more you watch, the more you know. So as I'm watching, it's teaching me how to understand it. And it helps because there are all these repeated symbols inside it. Like, for example, we've been talking a lot about the golden snail, but even the idea of the snail becomes a spiral, which appears in the work called How to Explain the Monument to the Golden Snail, which officially see some of the, here it is, Monument to the Fourth International. So it kind of like extends across to different applications. And when you sort of see how one particular symbol can map onto many things, then you can understand how Chulayarnnon is basically doing this kind of like layering process, not just in terms of symbolic meaning, but also in terms of like a political import and so forth, and even like filming technique. So that was kind of like the way I went about it. And also what was interesting was the logistics of stitching something together kind of makes sense. You have your personal archive, you have something which is almost kind of like community footage in a way, because like the protest footage reminds you so much of many of the things that you see, cell phone videos of the milk tea protests all around Southeast Asia and East Asia too, but they mean something else when they're there, and looking at this, how it's juxtaposed against your family material and later your kind of role-playing works where you perform as different characters. There's a very clear kind of technique that is used throughout that just repeats itself again. So I think that was what was productive for me in terms of like looking at the body of work that Chulayarnnon has made over the last 20 years, and also trying to understand how to map it out. But I think it's also good to talk a little bit about the role playing and the nature of performance in your work, because that's so clear for everyone when they think of K. So you have a few characters that have become a little bit iconic for you. You have Kirati in the Museum of Kirati, Nopon, as part of Behind the Painting series, and then Ang Sumalin, yes, together with the kind of Japanese schoolgirls as part of the ANG 48 series, right. And then the Red Eagle, and now you're moving on to something else. But even for this, there's a kind of chronology, a timeline, right? Because you chose these characters based on moments in history, and they are kind of following this progression. So perhaps you can speak a little bit about how that unfolded in terms of the body of work.
My practice in let's say like in the last 10 years from 2014, I try to like expand my practice from like filmmaking to I try to bring the other medium or expand it from the moving image to the other medium. For example, like I use my body as a medium. and also the other medium like painting or sculpture. So how I use my body is not like performance art, but it's like a role play. It's a role play that I pick up the popular novel, Thai popular novel. And this popular novel was adapted into like film and TV series many times. So it's become like a pop culture among the Thai people. For example, I pick up the novel called Behind the Painting, which is like a love story. It's like a tragic love story, and it's set up before World War II. It's a relationship between Thailand and Japan before the World War II. And I role play as two main characters, Nopon and Kirati. And another one that I pick up is called Thai novel called Kukam, which is the novel written during the Cold War, but the setup in the novel is during the World War II when Japan was like occupy Thailand. And it's a love story between like Thai woman and Japanese soldier during that time. And the latest one, I pick up the novel called Red Eagle, and I become like a boxer who is like a Thai superhero who against the communist. So if you can see the timeline that I made these three works is like is quite the timeline is quite is in order in terms of the political history, like relationship between like Thailand and Japan before World War II and during the World War II and then Cold War. So I think this novel is like it's a popular novel in our society, but the people focus on like entertainment values only, but not like political message. So I would like to dig it up and to show that this popular novel is not only like it's not only for entertainment, but we can compare the fiction with the history, and I devote myself to be these characters, and I would like to explore these characters not to be as same as the original novel, but I add my personal perspective in terms of the like political perspective. If I were these characters, what should be, well, what he or she should do. So in that sense, I don't need to be like respect to the original. So I can create like alternative fiction or storyline which is depends on my own. And I think like the narrative is okay. Time is quite abstract. We need something tangible, and I think the narrative is a kind of that we can understand easily. And for me, the narrative is like a material, because I can edit the narrative, I can edit the time and combine it together or create the new narrative or the new time and space. So in that sense, I think the idea of the montage, the technique of my work is always like montage and collage. The montage I always use as like a moving image editing that I try to recontext and create the new context from what from the archive or from the footage or from the novel, which is existed. But on the other hand, you can see some collages at the back of the gallery. So I think the collage and the montage that always the main techniques that I always use to create like the new narrative. And I think which is what I did.
I think what's interesting about this montage and collage techniques is that the edge of the material is always very visible. It's not smooth. I mean, even the way that you perform is not seamless. You know, like when you dress as Kirati and Nopon, it looks quite comical, you know, like, or, you know, it's almost like amateur theater. Right. And it's like you can quickly switch from being Kirati to Nopon just by changing your clothes, you know, and it's kind of like campy, you know, like casual. The artifice is very clear. And also when you create digital avatars of yourself as a schoolgirl, or, you know, like as like a golden snail, like almost like a kangaroo larvae or something, it looks like very lo-fi, or using face swapping technology. So I think that this kind of this lo-fi approach, this very amateur approach, is almost like meme culture. It's transferable, you know, like, so it makes people think about how fast you can kind of switch between things. So it's not like you have to inhabit it and be it. In fact, the only time that you actually took a huge step was when you train your body to be the red eagle. But otherwise, you can always quickly, you know, like right now you can become Kirati straight away, you know. So I think that is interesting, because when I think about being an audience member, you know, whenever you see something, you can identify the character in there. So when you perform as these different characters, it's almost like an act of quite radical empathy. We can kind of look at that way, because you switch from character to character, and these characters go across different classes, different kinds of genders, different kinds of positions and all that. So in a way, you are forcing yourself to manifest what it is that they represent, you know, in a world that is like extremely divided, but not with complete sympathy. Like, you're inhabiting it, and then from there on, something manifests itself. So in a way, you're asking the audience to also imagine themselves, you know, in this kind of role. So I've always found that kind of performance, the kind of role playing that you do, you know, very interesting because of this.
I think it's like I think today we can be anyone digitally. We can change immediately in terms of the digital, or like we have like application to be someone else, or like we have a avatar on the social media. So in that sense, I think my body was transformed from like physical body to be like digitally. So my idea is like when we like a selfie and post them on like a social media. So our bio data was transformed from physical to digital. And I think the idea of the pixel is quite rapidly to understand that because the pixel is like the small point that we can combine to see like a big image. So it's like one digit. So I think when I perform as many like characters, I become a pixel. Because in real life I didn't get dressed as Nopon and Kirati and walk around. So it's just only in the video. So in that sense, I think I feel like everyone is always transform themselves to be digital as a pixel. and this kind of data is collected. And when it's collected, it can be calculated by the algorithm, or it's like, okay, today we talk about like AI. So this data can predict what is the behavior of the people, what is the future. So I think the idea of the transformation, like body transformation, in my artwork is like a case study to understand what is the behavior of the people nowadays. And so the idea is come up with the title, like I, a pixel, and we the people. We the people, as you know, it came from like the first sentence of the American Constitution. So in that sense, I would like to say that everyone has power to change. I still believe that. I still believe that we have a voice to talk about or express the idea through the digital world, that it's not only to be like a physical anymore. Maybe it's over your question, but I feel like the physical protest is like sometimes it's hopeless, but I still hope that we can move on digitally, and we can change the attitude through the equipment that we use every day.
Yeah, I think that's a good segue to the role of art and film in actually enacting change. And I think this is quite clear in the last few episodes of the film, where you really kind of posit micro cinema, grassroots kinds of initiatives like street performances as a way to move forward, because art becomes a space where you can actually explore these ideas.
Okay, so in the latest episodes, about episode 20 to 24, I would like to suggest the role of the contemporary art. That how can we move on our social in terms of the democracy through the contemporary art. Because for me, like, contemporary art is like a tool to criticize or questioning our society, that how we live now and what is the problem there, what is the problem that we are facing on. So some people doesn't like contemporary art, especially the national security, or it's like, because it's quite challenging them to change the system. So we as artists have to fight the censorship. Sometimes it's censorship, sometimes it's like negative, like comments. But I think that is the result of my work as an artist, is to provoke and to make the question that we are, what are we facing on. Okay, in those episodes, I transform myself to be like many characters, and the question is, what is the role of myself as an artist? So I create one character. It's called voluntary artist, which I wear like the cap, and also like the scarf, which is refer to like a village scout during the Cold War in Thailand, because the village scout is like a people's army that was founded by the state to against the communists. But in my version, voluntary artist is like art labor who help the art ecosystem, contemporary art ecosystem, to be more fruitful and more like create like it's not only the artwork, but also I found out that the contemporary art world is okay. It seems like artist is a superhero, or maybe not super. It's like a hero because we can see like the name of the artist, blah blah blah. But sorry. But when we look into the process, there are many art labors, like curator, galleries, art historian, and also like art manager, and like the docent as well. So it's a community. It's not only one person as a hero. So I found out that in not only in Thailand but in many countries, contemporary art is still in the problem. So I would like to suggest that how can we improve the art ecosystem through the form of the spiral. So as you can see in the drawing in this gallery, so I make the project to interview the art people, about 30 people, and what do they think about the future of contemporary art. So I got the idea from these interviews and create like structures of the art ecosystem for contemporary art, and it's referred to the Tatlin's Tower, which is ideology of the communism. So in that sense, I think I try to make the question on the future, like okay, like Tatlin's Tower, like designed like 100 years ago, but what is the future of the contemporary art in the next 100 years, or how can we work together as an art community to improve this? So yeah, the last 4 episodes is like mostly it's a question, not only the contemporary art and also in the film scenes, because I feel like the film scenes is also need to be improved. So in the film scenes, I think it's like we have a movement recently in Thailand we call micro cinema. Micro cinema is like a independent screening, maybe like in the cafe or in like a library, that move on the idea or something that was hidden or prohibited idea of the filmmaker. It's like underground screening that can be move on the political ideology slowly. It's maybe it's not like it's not a popular like in the mainstream film, but it's like it's work with the people who interested, in terms of the independent cinema. I think it's what we need to do.
I think like you talking about like the improvement a lot, and like when you talking about like the micro cinema, I actually like thinking about like one of your episode. I think it might be like the episode 8 that you focus on like the education system, like specifically. So I just like want to like ask you, not just as an artist but your role as a teacher as well, because like you are also like the lecturer at the Bangkok University, like you teaching media, right? Yeah, like film media and stuff. And I also like met like some visitor like who came to the gallery, and they are like your student as well. So I just like want to know you are on like the personal level, that what kind of like the pedagogies or like what kind of like the curriculum that you think is work for you, or as a lecturer as well. I mean like what you teach them basically, like about like the I don't know, like the cinema or like film studies. Is that different from what you have been like learning like in your like university time or something like that?
Okay. One of the episode about my life in the film school during the university, because in my film school there is like there was let's say like bad criticism from the film lecturer to the student. So I try to capture the moment of the lecturer in my film school try to criticize the student presentation, and it's quite hopeless for the film student as me and my friends. So yeah, it's one of the motive that how can I improve the ecosystem in film as well. But today I become a film lecturer. I promised to myself that the idea and self-esteem of the student is important. So even like the artwork or the film from the student is good or bad, even it's bad, but we have to find something that can be support their idea. I think as a pixel, as a person, so I can support the self-esteem of the film student. For now, I teach in Bangkok University. It's called School of Digital Media and Cinematic Arts. What I teach is experimental film and also design and visualization for film, and also art appreciation for film. So in my part is like visual and film. How to visualize from text to image, I think. So in that sense, I think I use my own experience as an artist and a filmmaker to share with the students. And I think the ideology, I think the education part is one of the ecosystem that can we think about the appreciation, because I think the problem now is we don't have like variety of the film and art. The student is quite love the one kind of film that they saw like in the mainstream. So my duty is to present another side of the film world and in the art world, that you have the other area that you can explore, and it's very, maybe it's not the mainstream, but is quite challenging in terms of the audience.
I think it's like for now I think it's like about like this topic that we want to explore, but like I'm not sure like if anyone have like any comments, or like if there's someone who watched Chulayarnnon works like for a long time, if you have any comments or like want to share something, like please feel free to let us know. Because like actually like I said before that like we have like 4 more days to watch to see like the whole exhibition, so like might be good to like have some like conversation before like the ending of the exhibition. I-shan, or maybe like you can share first, like
maybe I just want to point out just something interesting about the film that maybe we might have missed casually. So it is a 24-hour loop, and I kind of feel like I want it to be 24 hours. When I finish that, I kind of want to start again, So and in fact, you designed it that way because the opening of the entire work are some lines from a poem. Maybe you can speak a little bit about it. And then the title of the last chapter, The House of Tomorrow, is also a line from the same poem. So I believe that circularity is there. I mean, we've spoken so much about, Thai politics, family histories, and also like the state of development in art histories and film histories. But I think that circularity can seem a little bit pessimistic, but it's almost like the notion of a spiral sort of like means that there's some sort of movement and change. Like it like time or even the way history moves is different. So I think that a work like this actually presents different notions of time, of history, that in a physical way, in these mounds, and also in terms of like the actual experience of duration. And I think that people who watch it, whether or not they are seeing episodes, as Kantida is inviting us to, or whether you actually see it the whole way through, I think that the beauty of time-based media is that it changes us because it forces and demands our attention. And then you sort of like have to interact with it. And there's no way that you can kind of like be passively consuming it. It changes you in some kind of way. So that's what I really got from, this exhibition. And in fact, many of the artists represented by this gallery also, work in this register. Many moving image artists, many time-based artists. So I think that that's really interesting, and not just for this exhibition, but the programming of this gallery as a whole.
Yeah, I think the last episode I call House of Tomorrow. Yeah, it's a questioning on the future, but the title of the episode is derived from the poem by Khalil Gibran, his poem about children. So I pick up House of Tomorrow from that poem, and in the poem, Khalil suggests that the children is not your children. They have their own life. So the parents just taking care of the children, but not to control the children to be as same as the desire of the parents. So that means like the children have freedom to decide the future by themselves. So it quite impressed me when I read when I was in the high school, and it's still in my mind for many years. And I think this poem is also related to my personal conflict with the family, and also related to the political situation, that how the Thai people is struggling. So I try to make these two sides in the last episodes, and I think it's quite romantic, but it also reflect the what is happening as well. So yeah, and also the last episode is gonna be like, it's like a spiral, as you said. So it's like thinking about the past and questioning the future, and also related to the first episode again.